Golfers, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to talk about two issues I see in a regular occurrence with people when they're pitching onto the green. So the biggest thing we need to eradicate is understanding the club interaction with the ground. The biggest thing we see on a daily basis where a lot of golfers struggle is they'll take too much loft for the shot required. So what you want to do, take your 58, throw it to the side, substitute your 58 for your 50. The biggest thing that we do see on a regular basis with people who don't have a lot of margin for error when they're pitching is they'll take the 58 degree, they'll get the ball position too far back. A lot of golfers struggle, the ball position gets too far back off the right foot, and as we come into impact, the hands get a little bit too far ahead. So the leading edge hits the ground, ball position gets too far back, the hands get too far ahead, and if you think about the knuckles on your left wrist, the knuckles of the left wrist get too far down towards the ground. Leading edge reaches the ground before the top edge of the club, so leading edge digs in, we hit the ball high off the face, a low running shot where we don't create a lot of control and a lot of spin. Think about your right palm. Your right palm influences how much loft we can create and also maintain throughout each shot. If you're somebody that struggles with your pitching, the likelihood is the ball position gets a little bit too far back in your stance, the hands get too far ahead. As we come into impact, the right palm gets too far down towards the ground. When we create too much extension in that right wrist coming into impact, the right palm goes too much down towards the ground, then the club gets too far ahead of the club head, and we get shots that look like this. The leading edge goes straight into the ground and we reduce our margin for error. Step one is understanding what the club's doing through impact, create a little bit more of a shallower approach. To change that, you need to get the ball a little bit further forward in your stance, get the stance a little bit wider. Instead of the ball position being too far off your right foot, we want the ball a little bit more into the middle of the stance. Allow us to get our chest to open up through impact, which is another shallowing mechanism that's going to allow us to hit the ball first, but also to maintain the loft. Is just pull your left foot back slightly, so you're going to pull your left foot back, so your left foot slightly behind your right foot. Then you're just going to flay your left foot open. So left foot open, left foot back. I want to feel like all my weight sits into my left side, left knee is over the middle of my left foot, and I feel like my left hip slightly lower at address, culminate into getting all my weight into my left foot, but it's also going to allow me to maintain the structure. I feel like my left foot's a little bit more open. I want to pull my left foot back slightly, and then I'm going to feel like my left knee sits on top of my left foot, not dragging the grip end of the club low and left. A great drill that you can do, so grip end of the club all the way up your right forearm. If I had too much lean in the shaft forward, as you can see from there, there's a big gap between the grip end of the club and my right forearm. What we want to do to improve what we're doing, we need to change our structure of our pitching technique. So instead of the grip end of the club working away from your right forearm, as you release the club, we want to feel like the grip end of the club falls back to hit your right forearm. Feel like through impact, the grip end of the club falls back towards my right forearm. If I rehearse that impact, the grip end of the club to fall back towards my right forearm. As you can see, the club head and the grip end of the club line up a little bit more productively coming into impact. If I pull on the grip, where the grip end of the club goes low and left, grip end of the club gets too far away from my right forearm. I'm going to flare that left foot open to about 10 o'clock, pull the left foot back slightly. Left knee is over my left foot, so my left hip sits a little bit lower. As I come into impact, I want to feel like the transition takes a long time, so I'm going to create a slightly longer backswing, and then as I come into impact, I'm going to let the club head cruise into impact. How am I going to maintain that and create that structure? I'm going to feel like the grip end of the club falls back towards my right forearm. A great drill that you can do to create that is grip end of the club to fall back towards your right forearm, and as I rehearse that coming into impact, that's going to enable the trailing edge of the club to interact with the ground, so it's going to establish a little bit more bounce coming into impact. So grip end of the club to fall back towards right forearm. There's no pressure on the grip end of the club. I want to feel like the club head feels really heavy coming into impact. Nice light grip pressure. Release the club, I'm going to allow my left shoulder to work up and back through impact. So left shoulder to work up and back, and I'm going to allow the grip end of the club to work up and left. So grip end of the club and left shoulder working up and left. So left shoulder working up and left, grip end of the club working up and left. And as you can see from there, that's going to help me maintain the loft, but it's also going to enable me to create a slight brushing of the ground as opposed to the leading edge digging into the ground. Left foot open, left foot back. Feel like left knee is over the middle of my left foot. Feel like I'm sitting in to that left foot. My left hip slightly lower. As I work the club back, I'm going to feel my right hip goes back the way, and as I come into impact, the grip end of the club is working back towards my right forearm. So I'm not dragging on the grip end of the club, low and left. Grip end of the club to fall back towards right forearm, and then as I come through impact, my left shoulder is working up and left, and my chest is going to start to extend towards the sky. It's really important we have a light grip pressure, so we're going to release the club, feeling like the grip end of the club falls back towards the right hip, and the club head overtakes the hands coming into impact, and then my chest is going to face the target. Great feeling to establish this is left shoulder working up and back, and keep that club face nice and open as we release the club. Grip end of the club to fall back towards right forearm. I'm allowing the club head to hit the ground where the golf ball is located, and chest to the target through impact. 3 ideas to improve your pitching. Please feel free to comment below any content you'd like to see on the channel, a few tweaks.